Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness had a surprising amount of buzz before it came out. With iconic director Sam Raimi at the helm, some people were convinced that this was going to be a departure from the normal MCU formula, while others believed that it was going to be a soulless husk that sucked any creativity away from Raimi. As an online film critic, I'm contractually obligated to hate anything the MCU does. These are baby movies for babies, and as a grown man, I think they're dumb. But I keep seeing them, so who's the real sucker? All things considered, I thought Multiverse of Madness was pretty good. It's amazing how far a little bit of quality filmmaking can bring a project like this. I don't think this movie would have been nearly as enjoyable without Sam Raimi's horror aesthetic. Watching Wanda, a character I never really cared about, being framed as this horrendous force of pure evil was pretty cool. Apparently there was a controversy going around where some people thought the horror was so intense that the movie needed an R rating. Now, I think this is pretty ridiculous, but I feel like a lot of critics claiming that this generation's a little too sensitive, can't deal with horror, they're being a little disingenuous. I mean, yeah, by Sam Raimi's standards, it's pretty tame, but a dude does get his brains blown out. It's not like we're at scary godmother levels of horror. All in all, I thought the movie was pretty good. 3 out of 5 stars. I also think it's a point of no return for the MCU and it's officially doomed. Even though I liked the movie, it felt like the weight of the MCU was starting to collapse in on itself. This movie brings back Christine, Doctor Strange's girlfriend from the first movie, and what I realized when I saw her was just how disposable these movies have become. The first Doctor Strange movie came out in 2016, and not only have I not seen it since it came out, I haven't even thought about it since it came out. I was going to make a big deal about how you needed to watch the spin-off TV show WandaVision to understand the plot of this movie, but somehow that is a more reasonable task than being expected to remember Doctor Strange's backstory. When criticizing the MCU, a lot of people have brought up how the lore has become so complicated that you basically need to take notes in order to keep up with everything. But this is actually the first time where I felt like that. This movie felt like a chore to keep up with. At this point, I don't even think there's such a thing as a casual MCU fan. I mean, if you're not keeping up with these movies, I couldn't possibly imagine what you would get from watching it. 3 out of 5 stars.